Hey guys, it's me Delta1 here with AspecAirsoft, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the KWA M4A1 2GX. This is KWA's newest model of their M4, so it's really flashy because of my lighting. Anyways, so here's their box. Let's just get it out of the way. It's really flashy, as you can see, nice and laminated. Nothing really spectacular. It's just KWA engineered to outperform. Nothing super spectacular, and no Foreign Legion FAMAS people on this box. So, anyways, let's see what your gun will look like inside your box. So when you take your box top off, your gun will be encased in some styrofoam. It's not the best packaging in the world. It's not a real sword, but your gun will come fine in shipping. You won't really need to worry about anything. So let's see what your gun comes with. So once you get everything out of the box, here's what your gun will come with. Everything you see here except for this. This is just a gun stand for reviews that, if you're a reviewer like me, you will want to purchase one of these, especially since, well, you'll probably review a lot of M4s. So, it'll come with a KWA sticker, which you can post on your car, your glasses, or wherever you want, because it's a KWA sticker. Some Allen keys and a front side post adjuster to disassemble your receiver to do basic maintenance for your barrel cleaning and stuff like that. A cleaning dejamming rod, nothing special for your cleaning and dejamming rod. Although it is made out of a higher quality material than your standard cleaning and dejamming rod, I know this may be something you really shouldn't speak of, but it does feel a lot more durable than your other dejamming rods, which is kind of nice because if you have a long barrel, dejamming rods that tend to break when you clean them, especially if you polish your barrels. So this is actually a nice cleaning and dejamming rod. KWA warranty information and stuff like that. If you're going to get it warranted through KWA, which I highly recommend you doing because, well, it's one of the only airsoft guns that is not voided by using an 11.1 LiPo through manufacturer, which is really amazing. So highly recommend you fill out this warranty information and send it into KWA. And a little card that basically states this gun is LiPo ready. Oh my gosh. Not really. But yes, this is LiPo ready, and it basically tells you it's LiPo ready. A KWA M4A1 and M4 CQB manual. There is no Chinglish to be found in here. Very good manual. I highly recommend you keep this for any basic maintenance or disassembly. So keep this manual on hand. KWA M4 300 round high capacity magazine. It's a very high quality magazine and fits in your KWA just fine. There is something I will talk about on KWA magazines, but I'll talk about that issue later. A barrel condom as well, and then the gun itself. Now let's talk about the features, starting with the metal and polymer components. So basically, I'm just going to tell you what isn't metal, just because it's easier. The hand guards right here, the pistol grip, and the stock. Everything else is metal. And it's got a really nice finish to it, which is really cool. And that's one of the things KWA went for when they made this gun, is to make it for law enforcement training purposes. And then basically, someone took it to airsoft and it just exploded and everyone wanted a KWA. Now, the finish to this is just great. It's just got one of those finishings on it that makes it feel like a real gun, but yet it's not at the same time. So the finish on it's quite nice. And has the just kind of like a real firearm in a way. Now, the pistol grip is polymer, like I said, but one of the things I want to mention, which is a con about this gun, is that it's very particular with what pistol grips it has. We took a Magpul MOE pistol grip, or whatever they're called, and the motor height in the way that it was put on sounded horrible. And I don't know if it was just to my friends KWA, but it just did not sound good, and it sounded like garbage. So KWA is quite picky when it comes to putting on any, so to say, Magpul stuff for their motor mounts, because no matter what angle the motor was at, it just didn't sound good. So stick with what you got when it comes to putting these on. In terms of stocks, you really shouldn't have much of a problem. You may just have to Dremel a little piece off your stock in order to get it to fit. But the stock, it has numbers which start with 0 to 5. It has a 6-position stock. Just goes back and forth, nothing special. There is a bit of wobble, but I've not yet found one M4 stock that has been just stock out of the box that has not had any wobble on it. So nothing some Teflon tape or some electrical tape can't fix to fix the wobble. The sling mounts on the gun are metal on the rear. Right here, you could put a sling mount here. I would trust it for long time carrying. I wouldn't put a 1-point on here, just in fear of it will come loose. And I don't think this one will wobble side to side. But there are ambidextrous sling mounts right here where it attaches on the buffer tube, which is great because I would totally trust these. It's ambidextrous, so if you're left or right-handed, this is great. The sling mount is also on the left side of the gun right here, which is maneuverable to the other side as well, which is metal, which is great. You can use that. Now, selector switch is on the left side of the gun. So if you're a lefty, well, this M4s aren't for you, but if you were a lefty and you were to get an AK, it wouldn't be a big deal. You could use it. Now, in terms of changing the handguards, you could change the handguards. I put MOE handguards on here. It didn't require any modifications at all. You can put rail systems, all that good stuff on here. Don't need to worry about it. The carry handle right here is removable. It exposes 20mm rail. You put all the optics you want on here you need. The sights flip down. You have the little peephole and the regular one, windage, elevation, all that good stuff. Charging handle, you pull it back, nice sound. Hop up is exposed, you know how to operate it. Nice sound. Now, on the other side, you have KWA's, big old KWA, which I kind of don't like because you don't really want to see just plain companies' markings because it's just plain. Like, if you were to see G&G, I don't mind G&Gs because it looks cool. Or VFCs because it looks cool. Because they're all flashy, but just plain is kind of lame. And then it has an individual serial number, which is kind of cool. It's always nice to have individuality. But other than that, the body's pretty plain, lack of trades. Also, another thing I want to talk about is when you get a KWA, make sure that you have a genuine sticker on it. I'm pretty sure these come with these now because they were having an issue where someone was copying them and they were claiming that they were KWAs, so make sure yours has this. Another neat feature is the receiver pins are held in by Allen screws, so you don't have to worry about them falling out in the midst of battle. Also, another neat feature is the removable flash hider. It is 14mm counterclockwise, so you can put all sorts of flash hiders, Barrett flash hiders, which I will slap you if you do. You can put a suppressor, fake ones. Why would you even want to try a real suppressor? It's cost a lot of money. Don't even. That'd be stupid. You get the point. You can put all sorts of flash hiders and stuff. Moving on, the mag issue I want to talk about. KWAs are extremely picky, from what I've been told, using 11-1 lipos with high cap mags. The only mags I've really seen in the midst of play when I've been in a firefight side by side with someone is actual KWA mags. The Lunex mags work fine, and mag brand midcaps. Those are the only ones that I would really recommend. They are a bit on the pricey side for the high caps that you have to buy, but the mag brand midcaps aren't really too expensive. You can buy a box, I believe, of 10 for around the $50 to $60 area, so you don't really have to worry about it if you're a Milsim player, which you're not going to use the $130 ones. I mean, the 100-rounder midcaps, I mean. You're probably going to use the 30-rounders, so you really won't have to worry about it. But other than that, if you can get over the fact of having to pay money for more mags and all that stuff, don't have to worry about it. Now for the internal reports. I'm going to start with the barrel. The barrel is not your standard 363mm. It's a 394mm. So instead of stopping right here, it goes all the way to right where the orange starts on the flash hider. So they wanted to go a little extra further, which is great, because if you want to get a little more extra accuracy, I mean, you're talking microscopic. I mean, it's just for the people who think it'll go a little extra further. But it's still cool, because I like that. That's the type of guy I am. The little extra oomph that they like to try and put in there is what makes it good for me. Now, it is, I believe, a 6.4 type bore barrel, and the hop-up bucking is quite unique. It's not like your standard log, where inside of your bucking, you have like kind of like just a standard like line, and then the bucking just goes normal, and then there's kind of like a line for the nub to push down on. If you were to take my fingers, this is what the bucking looks like inside. and when it pushes down, it separates it like that, and your BB grips inside. It's a really cool concept, but surprisingly, it doesn't work as good as I was hoped it would. The Mad Bull Blue and Systema buckings work better, but it's still a really good design, and it works really well. But I would prefer my standard, Mad Bull Blue or Systema buckings, but it works really well though, because you have the tie bore and it just works well. Believe me guys, it just does. Also, the hop-up unit is proprietary, because KWA gearboxes are proprietary, which is kind of an annoyance. But you don't have to worry about that, because you can go direct to KWA and get the parts you need with no problem. I've had to get parts from KWA before. I've never had that problem. They are right, you just call them up, I need this part, and you've got it. So let's talk about the gearbox. You have a long type motor, a rock solid gear set. And I'm going to talk about the gear set. Their gear sets and their gearboxes are made so precise that they're shimless, which is amazing. That each gear set and each gearbox are so precise that they're made for each gear set and each gearbox that there's no shims. So that's a lot of detail for one gearbox per gun. So that's pretty cool. You have a polycarb piston with the last tooth removed, which is good because you don't have to worry about pre-engagement. And then you have a aluminum piston head that is imported. That kind of concerns me because there's nothing to push the O-ring out, which is kind of weird. Don't know why they did that. Then you have a polycarb cylinder head with a really, really ridiculous buffer. And then you have a ported cylinder. So basically the KWA gearbox is pretty flawless, minus the non-ported piston head. That's my only gripe. But other than that, it's proprietary, but you can get all the parts you need from KWA, so you don't really need to worry about it. It's basically like a real sword, but you can get all the replacement parts you need from KWA. So, let's go to the final conclusion. Final conclusion. If you're an M4 guy, and you just want a gun that performs great out of the box, this is your route to go. Because you're not going to have to pay to upgrade it, you're just going to need to pay to get your rail systems, your Magpul stuff, and all your fancy accessories that I don't find necessary because I like Russian weapons. So, basically, this performs right out of the box. You can just rip it out, 400 FPS, it's LiPo ready, it's warranted to be LiPo ready. There's no other reason to not buy this gun just because of the fact that you can rip it out of the box and it's skirmishable. All you need to do is buy a battery, some mags, ammo, and you're good to go. And not having to buy upgrades is a big deal in the airsoft world. I spend almost $1,000 on a gun and upgrades. And I love upgrading. And if I need to go to an op and I don't want to spend a bunch of money and it's a requirement for me to go to an op, and I mean a big op, like if I was to go to Operation Irene and they're like, you have to have an M4. And if I have to protest it and fight for 2 years before this op, if I have that option and I can't have anything and I have to use M4, I'm just going to go buy a KWA. Because it's going to be easy, I'm not going to have to do anything like that. So, bottom line, my personal opinion, I love KWA, but I don't like the fact that stuff is proprietary. But you can get all the replacement parts that you need. So, basically, bottom line, KWA is great. There's not a reason to not buy it. But if you don't like the fact that it's not proprietary, you should kind of get over it and just accept the fact that it isn't. But you can get around it by doing some modifications in the gearbox. I've actually seen people do it and use actual standard TM components. So, that's actually pretty cool. So, bottom line, I think this is a great M4. I actually was going to keep this for myself, but then I reminded me of how much I don't like it, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to sell it, it's brand new. I pulled it out of the box, put it back in, so I have no reason to use this. So, basically, bottom line, this M4 is great. So, let's go to the final conclusion. Final conclusion, this M4 is great, and there really is, like, it's just great out of the box. You can't really compare it to a GMP because, well, that's a whole nother can of worms I'm not going to open because that's a whole other argument I don't want to get into. Or a VFC. But this gun is great out of the box, bottom line. if you're looking for a gun, you don't want to upgrade, and you just want to pull it out of the box, this is what you want to get. So if you're looking to buy this gun, there's a link in the description to AspecAirsoft.com where you can buy it. Guys, I hope you've liked this review, and thanks for watching.